Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today I thought we'd have a little chat as to why it is I haven't uploaded for 3 weeks, which is pretty much around the time I stopped playing Diablo Immortal. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of stuff, I guess, to say about this game. I think we'll probably break it down into maybe a series of videos, and today I guess we'll talk about pay to win and why I think realistically it ruins the gameplay loop I think that this game is trying to achieve. Now, this game isn't a Diablo game. I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, it feels a little bit like Diablo, it looks an awful lot like Diablo, it sounds an awful lot like Diablo. But at its core, I don't think that this is a traditional Diablo experience. And the reason for that is mainly because it's an MMO. It's a massive multiplayer online game. It's not an ARPG. So Diablo 1 was a very dark, revolutionary dungeon crawling game. It was very hard, very unforgiving. You killed monsters, you were very scared. The monsters often killed you, the butcher. If you ever played Diablo 1, I'm sure you remember shitting yourself. But the idea is your character leveled up, you found better gear, and you got to the end of the game and it was a story only, and that's fine. Diablo 2 obviously, took those fundamental building blocks and made a fantastic game, one with some real depth, because it took so long to get to the end of the game. It was a very difficult game again, but you had this wonderful experience over like anywhere from like 30 or 50 hours or whatever to build a character, basically. It was a long investment, but you could always just go and, God, this is really laggy. You could go and what the hell? There we go. Yeah, Diablo 2, you could make multiple characters. If you're playing a Necro and you find something really good for Barb, you can go over to your stash, you can stick it in, and you can play other classes. You're not necessarily penalised for doing that, and really that is not how this game works. But anywho, with that in mind, pay to win, I guess, is the discussion. So there's two parts to why I think pay to win kind of breaks the fundamental gameplay loop in this. So the first one is the PvE content. So the whole kind of idea for Diablo games is that you make your character stronger over time. You defeat stuff. It gives you I haven't played for so long, I can't even remember what the menus are. You defeat stuff, you get gear, it makes you stronger, you can do higher content, that gives you more chance to get better gear, and it's that kind of like acceleration PvE kind of loop that we like. We like destroying monsters, we like it when they drop loot, when they do, and that's the kind of the gameplay loop. Now, pay to win affects this, not that much, but it does in terms of if you just buy power, then you make it much easier to collect stuff, and I don't really get the point in that. Either you're enjoying the game or you're not, and if you're not enjoying the game, paying power to skip to get to the point where you are going to enjoy it, I just think is a little bit self-defeating. I don't think pay to win really works in these types of games. I mean, I understand the attraction, because obviously you can spend hours finding things, but if that's not fun for you to do, then I think you're probably playing the wrong game for you. Now, there are people who speculate that this game has been designed so grindily that it makes it very heavily incentivized to go and drop some dosh and speed it up. But as I say, it just wrecks the gameplay loop. Like, D2 has always had the ability to buy items. You've always had websites where you can buy runes gear because it's got a free trade economy. Anybody can give anybody anything. And Diablo 3, of course, launched with a real money auction. So pay to win has existed in the world of Sanctuary, but not kind of like this. And if you did a community check, most people hate those sites that do their selling runes in Diablo 2. Most people hated the real money auction house. It was just straight garbage that people wanted out of the game. And I think it's kind of like, that's why, because it just breaks the gameplay loop. it's like downloading a hero editor for Diablo 2. It ruins it. Like, what's the point? You know, if you can just get any item by clicking a mouse, you know, I just don't get it. I've never understood it. I play games casually. I play them to relax. I play them for entertainment, and to just basically skip it. Like, you might as well just skip the whole game. So I think pay to win from PvE is quite bad. But I mean, you can make an argument that the main gameplay loop in this game is actually Shadows versus Immortals. You know, this whole cycle of strife, Dark Clan, all this kind of stuff. You can make an argument that some of the gameplay loop is the battlegrounds, the PvP. And if you've got a game that is really heavily based on PvP, or it's got big aspects to it, pay to win just completely trashes that. It makes an absolute mess of it, particularly if not handled correctly. And the way this game is, I mean, if we look, we've got, and I think this is quite interesting recently, we have got Rax and Wadijo have both quit. Both quit today. So Wadijo, I'm out. Time to quit Diablo Immortal. Full story. And I think Rax is also out as well. Yeah, Maxroll is shutting their branch. Again, video from today. Now, realistically, those two guys are mega blasters. They will play games all day long, 8+ hours, sometimes 14 hours a day, because it's their job. They obviously love the games, they're talented at them, and it is their living, So, and if they can't get near people spending money, then it's a little bit like imagine you're trying to do some kind of like competition, like a triathlon, and you stood there at the start, you're about to get in the water and go for your swim, which is the first leg. The dude next to you goes, right, well, you were about to do this swim, but I'm just gonna shove in a load of legendary crests into my triathlon attempt, and they get a speedboat and they set off and go on the speedboat whilst you're trying to swim after them. That's not going to be fun. You get to the end of the swim and you think, well, hey, I'm good on the push bike, I'm good at cycling, maybe I'll make some time back. The guy again busts out the legendary crests, and they get access to a motorbike. So, on the motorbike whilst you're cycling after them. And then, I don't know, maybe they get some Wile E. Coyote rocket shoes for the third leg. So basically, paying for power in a PvP game, if you can pay for like huge amounts of power, it just completely trashes the gameplay loop. Like, I've got very little interest in playing PvP because, I mean, I don't play PvP in D2 anyway. I don't play PvP in a lot of things because, again, I'm casual and want to relax in games, don't want to be stressed out all the time. But if you do go and play it and you lose, your brain's just going to go there, isn't it? It's going to, well, that person paid. That's why I lost, and to basically get stomped on by whales or people who spent money, no thanks. Doesn't really interest me. So I think, one of the main reasons that this game is failing with its traditional community of Diablo players is because the pay to win is just so far. If we do it again, we do a quick little search on Diablo Immortal on YouTube. Obviously, we're going to get a lot of negative stuff. Wadijo, as we say, quitting. Asmongold, I'm sure you've been watching these videos, been dunking on it. But ultimately, the Quinn 69 spending $15,000 to get one 5-star legendary gem, and people also saying it's like $500,000 to fully max your character out. I mean, crikey, that's a lot of paying to win. As I say, you kind of, I just can't see how there's any kind of sense of fulfillment in it. It just trashes both gameplay loops for me. Now, I've played other pay-to-win games. I've done mobile. I've got nothing against mobile games. I played a lot of Raid Shadow Legends. I ended up starting a second channel, with a view to doing some, potentially some Diablo Immortal on here. As you can see, I did have a little bit of a go of some Raid a couple of years ago. And Raid was about as pay to win as a game could be, but even in that game, if you played a lot, if you ground out the time, you would get there. You would be able to get through. You could still potentially fight people who paid money and beat them. I guess maybe you can do in this, but it just, all that stuff, it just feels so hollow. It's just like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of handing money to get power in video games? It's so far away from what I think like a core Diablo experience is. Diablo, for me, will always be about playing dungeons, playing rifts, beating monsters, hoping that they drop the loot that I want, looking for those gear pieces that are better, that get better over time slowly, and building up a character. Now, D3 obviously isn't like that, but D3 has the rift system, which they've kind of brought over, but not really well, because the Elder Rifts are just a complete cakewalk. My son, who is 11, beats them every time. I'm pretty sure you could beat them one-handed. Timmy No Thumbs easily could beat them, which is a shame because the legendary crests offer some cool modifiers. You know, you constantly get poisons, you get reduced visibility. There are some interesting things done with this, but it makes, like, this is so boring. It's so pointless. You win every time. Winning every time is not fun. And I don't know. I guess maybe T16 rifts in D3 you can win every time, but you don't start off that way. You have to build your character up. You can't just like blitz through them all. And then these Elder Rifts just don't. The challenge rifts don't really seem to give us enough of a reward, really. I don't know. Yeah, pay to win Diablo, I think it's a little bit of a problem. There are other issues. Maybe I'll make some future videos on the MMO nature of this. Maybe I'll just go back and play the campaign a couple more times with a few characters. But ultimately, I don't really see myself making content on this game as it stands, because I'm just not enjoying it. Because I don't think at heart, whilst the voice acting of the campaign, whilst it looks pretty, whilst it kind of is Diablo-esque, with these things, ultimately, this game, I don't think, it doesn't have the character development of D2, it doesn't have the risk system of D3, there's just something not quite right, not quite Diablo about it. Anyway, they're my thoughts, just a quick video just to say, hey, D3 season hopefully soon. Hopefully we'll get a PTR. I really hope that's not when I'm on holiday. But yeah, I hope you're well. I've been the Filthy Casual. Take it easy, guys. Peace.